The nevertheless of Jesus. The nevertheless of Jesus. In the garden, I already said this, in the garden, our Master endured a great trial. As I already said, that he said, my soul is greatly grieved. You remember the first temptation in the wilderness when the Lord overcame the temptations of the enemy. The Bible says that the enemy, depending upon what translation you read it, either he says he left him for a season. Other translations say he left him for a more opportune time. And there's a great many scholars that believe this was the time. This was the opportune time where the enemy thought he was going to come back, and at the moment of the greatest pressure, increase it. And Jesus was struggling so greatly that the Bible says he sweat, as it were, drops of blood. And all of you know, you're not novices to this thing called Christianity. You know that that's actually a medical condition. And it doesn't happen to many, but it has happened to others where the stress of the moment is so great that the blood vessels in their head actually rupture. And out of the sweat ducts come blood. That means the pressure of this moment was almost beyond human ability to endure. And I don't believe for a moment, I got to say, I don't believe for a moment that the pressure was his unwillingness to save. I know that he was committed to that end. I think the pressure came from the realization that the first time ever, the lamb becoming the scapegoat would be separated from the Father. And that had never happened before. You remember on the cross, what he cried was not, why have I become sin? He didn't cry, why do I got to do this for them? What his cry was, my God, why have you forsaken me? The greatest thing he faced was the separation. So he said, if there's any other way to do this, I want to get it done, but is there any other way to do it? Nevertheless, one word. I want to say it to you this way. One word brought about the salvation of every human who would ever believe. One word. If there's any other way to do this, nevertheless, not my will, but your will be done. See, we can learn something from the Master. When you're facing something you would rather not face, when the Lord has asked of you or given you a task that is difficult, and listen, there will be times he will ask you to do things you would rather not do. He'll ask you to give an amount you'd rather not give. He'll ask you to go somewhere you'd rather not go. He'll ask you to forgive someone you'd rather not forgive. And when it's hard and you say, God, if there's any other way, I want to fulfill your purpose on my life, but I don't want to have to forgive them. I don't want to do good to those who have despitefully used me. And I know your word says to treat others as you would have them treat you, but I want to treat them the way they treated me. That one word, nevertheless.